The desert had its own law, hard, silent, and unforgiving. Jacob Hale knew this better than most. He had lived alone on his ranch for nearly 2 decades, far from towns, far from comfort, and far from mercy. His land sat where the plains met the red cliffs, a place people avoided and Apaches were said to roam freely. Jacob stayed anyway. The land was all he had left after war took his brother and fever took his wife. That evening the sun sank like a burning coin into the horizon, staining the sky with blood-red light. Jacob was returning from the well when he noticed something near the dry arroyo, behind his barn. At first he thought it was a boulder. Then the boulder shifted. Jacob froze, hand tightening around the rifle slung over his shoulder. Slowly, painfully, a woman tried to rise from the dirt. She was enormous, taller than any man Jacob had ever known. Broad-shouldered, powerfully built. Her dark hair hung loose and tangled, her clothing torn and soaked with dried blood. She was Apache. Her knees buckled and she collapsed again. Jacob's mind screamed warnings. Every frontier story ended the same way. Mercy led to death. Apache raids had burned ranches like his. Men he once knew never came home. But when he stepped closer, he saw the truth. Her lips were cracked white. Her chest barely moved. A deep gash cut across her side, festering beneath the desert sun. She wasn't hunting. She wasn't hiding. She was dying. Jacob slowly lowered his rifle. He knelt, uncapped his canteen, and tilted it toward her mouth. Instantly, her eyes snapped open. Dark, fierce, alert, even in weakness. Her hand shot up and seized his wrist. The strength in that grip surprised him. For a long moment, they stared at each other, enemy and stranger, bound by nothing but fate. Then thirst won. She drank desperately, water spilling down her chin as her grip softened. When she finished, she released him and whispered a single word in broken English. Water, life. Jacob helped her into the barn, cleaned her wound as best he could, and wrapped it with fresh cloth. She never threatened him, never begged. She endured the pain in silence, watching him with eyes that missed nothing. Before dawn, she was gone. No footprints, no horse tracks, only a strange Apache symbol carved into the barn door. Jacob felt uneasy, but he told himself he had done the right thing. At sunrise, the earth began to tremble. Hooves, hundreds of them. Jacob stepped onto his porch and his blood ran cold. Apache warriors surrounded his ranch in a vast, silent circle, at least 300 of them. Painted faces, rifles and bows held steady. War horses breathing clouds of dust into the morning air. One command and his ranch would disappear from the earth. At their center sat the giant woman. She was transformed. Her wound was bound with clean leather. She wore a feathered mantle marked with symbols of rank and battle. Her posture alone commanded obedience. This was no ordinary warrior. Jacob did not reach for his gun. He stepped forward and waited. The woman dismounted and approached him. Every warrior watched, silent as stone. My name is Asha Red Eagle, she said. I am war chief of my people. Jacob swallowed. You saved my life, she continued. 3 days ago, my warriors believed me dead. She turned and spoke to the gathered Apaches in her own tongue. Jacob couldn't understand the words, but he saw the effect. Weapons lowered. Tension faded. If I had died, Asha said calmly, your ranch would already be ashes. Your bones would lie in the dust. Jacob nodded once. I didn't help you to earn protection, he said. I helped because you were dying. Asha studied him closely as if looking past flesh and into his spirit. Among my people, she said, a life debt is sacred. She placed a carved stone at his feet. This land is now watched, she declared. No Apache will harm you. Any enemy who comes here will answer to us. The warriors turned their horses away, but Asha did not leave immediately. You are alone, she said. The desert has taken much from you. Jacob looked at his ranch. Empty house, broken fences, quiet nights. Yes, the spirits do not cross lives without reason, she said. Mercy is rare among enemies. She mounted her horse. When 3 full moons pass, she said, I will return. If your heart remains honest, your fate will change. With that, she rode away. Jacob watched until the dust settled. 3 moons passed. True to her word, Asha returned, but not with warriors. She came with elders, gifts, and peace. She stayed. She learned his ways. He learned hers. What began as a life debt became respect. What became respect grew into something deeper. Their union forged peace between frontier settlers and her people along that land. Raiders avoided the territory. Bloodshed ended where mercy had begun. All because one man gave water to an enemy dying in the desert. And the desert remembered. 3 full moons had passed since the Apache war chief rode away from Jacob. Hale's ranch? Yet the desert no longer felt empty. Something unseen had changed. Raiders stopped crossing his land. His cattle went untouched. Even the nights felt quieter, as if the land itself stood guard. On the night of the 3rd full moon, Jacob sensed it before he saw it. Hoofbeats, slow, deliberate. He stepped outside with his lantern. Asha Red Eagle emerged from the darkness, riding alone. No warriors, no weapons drawn. She dismounted with the same quiet authority that once commanded 300 fighters. She looked stronger now, fully healed. Taller and more imposing than before, yet her eyes were calm. "You remembered," Jacob said. "I do not forget life debts," she replied. She stayed that night, not in the house, but beneath the open sky near the fire. They spoke for hours, trading stories instead of threats. Asha told him of battles fought, of a people pushed from river to stone, of leadership forced upon her after her father fell. Jacob spoke of war loss and the long years of loneliness that followed. Night after night she returned. The ranch slowly changed. Broken fences were repaired, sometimes by Jacob, sometimes by Apache hands he never saw. Trade replaced fear. Word spread quietly. This land was protected. But peace never lasts unchallenged. One dawn, smoke rose from the eastern hills. Settlers had built a new outpost, armed men greedy for land. They accused the Apaches of theft, though no cattle were missing. Their leader, Captain Morris, was a man who believed violence solved all problems. He rode to Jacob's ranch with armed men behind him. "You're harboring Apache," Morris said. "That makes you a traitor." Before Jacob could answer, Asha stepped forward. The air shifted. Morris laughed when he saw her. "One woman doesn't scare me." Asha did not raise her voice. "This land stands between our worlds," she said. "Leave it." Morris reached for his gun. He never drew it. From the ridges, Apache warriors appeared, silent, ready. Not 300 this time. Enough. Morris retreated, humiliated, but hatred burned in his eyes. That night, Asha stood beneath the stars, knowing war was coming. "My people will fight," she said. "So will yours." Jacob shook his head. "There has to be another way." She studied him for a long moment. "You believe mercy can stop blood," she said. "Even now." "Yes." She placed her hand over his heart. "Then stand beside me." The attack came weeks later, settlers riding under false claims of defense. They expected an easy victory. They were wrong. Jacob rode at Asha's side, not as a warrior, but as a bridge. He stood between guns and arrows, shouting truth where lies had ruled. Witnesses came. Evidence surfaced. Morris was exposed. The outpost collapsed, not by blood, but by law and shame. When the dust settled, something rare had been forged. Peace. At the next full moon, Apache elders gathered at the ranch. They watched as Asha stood before them, strong, proud, unbroken. "I choose my path," she declared. "I choose the man who gave water when the world gave death." The union was sealed not with conquest, but with consent, 2 worlds joined by choice, not force. Jacob Hale became more than a rancher. He became a keeper of peace. And Asha Red Eagle became more than a war chief. She became a legend. Long after both were gone, travelers spoke of a land where no blood was spilled, where mercy stopped war, and where one act of kindness changed the fate of the frontier, all because one man gave water to a dying enemy, and the desert never forgot.